Hey guys, in this video we're going to be installing Context Editor, which is the text editing program that we're going to be using to create our code. So open up your web browser and type in www.contexteditor.org. We're going to be installing the desktop version. It's going to ask you to replace Windows Notepad. I opted to not do that. You can if you like. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. Okay, so now that we're in context, go to the Options tab in Environment Options. We want to, when started, we want to open the last file or project that we were working on. You don't have to do this, but once again, I'm just kind of taking you through to what's going to make your life a little bit easier. And make sure that Remember Editing Positions is checked. Once again, that just kind of brings you back to the same spot that you were working on before. The Editor tab is the next one. Okay. We want to uncheck Allow Cursor after End of Line and uncheck Smart Tabs. Both of these tend to make the code kind of messy if they're allowed, and I like to see clean code. And then make sure that line numbers is checked, because when you go to compile your code, which we talked about in the last video, any errors or anything that you get are going to have line numbers associated with them. So this makes it way easier to find, errors and things like that in your code. And it's kind of more of a personal preference thing, but this block indent and CJava block indent, if you set these both to 4, I think it makes the code a little bit easier to read. It just offsets it just a little bit more from the left. And in the Execute Keys tab, this is basically what we're gonna do is make a keybind to compile our code. So in the Execute Keys tab, go to Add, and when this box comes up, type .uc, and we're gonna click on F10. Now, I mean, you can click on any of these. F9 is the default for Fraps, which is the program that I'm using to record this. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use F10. In this execute line, we need to go and find our UDK folder. And in binaries, the one that we talked about yesterday, we need to go to Win32 and open up the udk.exe. Now, yours might look a little bit different than mine, but you can figure out if it's an exe file, because there's 2 files here named UDK. You can find out if it's an exe file by right-clicking, going to Properties, and under Type of File it'll say application.exe. So that's the one that we're looking for. Click on it and go to Open. Start in. Basically, we're just going to copy all of this minus the udk.exe. In parameters, we want to go to make, and what that means is that we want it's telling the UDK that we want to compile our code instead of opening our game. Let's see. Now we want to go to capture console. Oh, I'm sorry. We want to go to save. We want to say all files before execution. And what that does is it makes sure that all of our changes get compiled if we're working on more than one file. And right here we want to capture console output and scroll console to last line. This lets you see the compile progress at the bottom of context, and any compiler errors that you have will show up there. Alright, so that's it for now for this. Let's hit apply and OK. And we have one last thing that we want to do. We're going to create some highlighters. Now if you notice here, this is all just, black text. Highlighters highlight certain parts of the code to make it a little bit easier to read. It'll just change the colors of certain things, so kind of trains our eye to look for different parts of the code. And you'll see what I mean here in some upcoming videos. So what we want to do is just we're going to close a couple of these out, and we're just going to start a new file here. Now we need to go back to our web browser. We need to type in http://wiki.beyondunreal.com/context. And this is going to give us a highlighter script. Okay. So this Unreal script highlighter is what we're looking for right here, and it says to use the highlighter in context, copy the code below and save it to a file named unrealscript.ch1 in the highlighters directory of context. So we're going to go ahead and copy all this code. Oops. Guess you'll probably do it right the first time. Or the third time, whatever. Fourth. I lost count. Anyway, okay, so we're going to copy it, and then we need to make sure that we name it unrealscript.ch1. Okay, so let's minimize this, we'll paste it in here, go to File, Save As, and now by default it's going to try to save into this Win32, but we need to go back to our program files, context, and go to the highlighters, and this is where these are all the ch1 files, so it told us to save it as Unreal Script, and the save type as, we're going to go to highlighter files, click save, and as you can see it's already changed the color of the text, so seems to be working. Alright, we're going to close that out, X out of context, and we are done setting up context, guys. See you in the next video.